let me go back once again to that steel plant example. Now, in that steel plant, remember there are multiple things happening. Number one, this is a team based activity. It is a group of 25 or 30 people who are working together to ensure that there is good production from the blast furnace. It is also need to be keep in mind that their performance is dependent on the upstream processes. If you have not got good quality iron ore, if the people in the earlier departments have not done their job well, if there is a bottleneck before the blast furnace, then obviously the productivity of the blast furnace is not going to be very good. So, in that kind of environment, it is very difficult to individually incentivize people. You can think of creating a production target, but again the production target is dependent on upstream processes. As I already told you, since it is a group based process, it is very difficult to isolate how individuals are contributing. And I think many of you know that in a team based or a group based process, there is this problem of free rider, which means that if you have 10 people working very hard, a smarter 11th person might think that anyway those 10 people are working very hard, and as a result I do not need to work hard because the rewards which are common for the group, I will also get that reward. So, your problem is that it is not an individual work, you cannot find how individuals are contributing. How are you going to incentivize people in this environment? Now, there are different ways of course of doing that. In the steel plant environment, what they do is they actually appoint a supervisor. He might be called a foreman. So, if you have a group of 30 people working for 8 hours, then you will have one person whose only job is to supervise all these 30 people. So, the supervisor actually is keeping track, he is walking across, he is talking to many of the people, trying to understand the problems that they are facing, but he is also keeping track that who is putting what kind of effort. And if somebody is slacking, somebody is disappearing from the job by giving an excuse that I need to go to the toilet, etc., this person will be very careful about it, because the supervisor is now made responsible for the production target. So, all these incentives are linked, but one of the first way of dealing with situations where there is a principal agent divergence is to put a direct supervisor who will to a large extent determine how much incentive you get and how much penalty might be levied on you. But now think of what might be a downside of direct supervision. The downside of direct supervision is it is expensive. In this environment you need one supervisor for 30 people. Think of a large steel plant which might have thousands of people. So, you will need a lot of supervisors, and remember, as I told you, the supervisor's job is only to supervise, not to produce. So, he or she effectively is an overhead in my production process. So, yes, as one of the means of control, we do have direct supervision. Think of your traditional classrooms where a teacher is teaching you, of course, he or she is teaching you, but there is also this notion of direct supervision, that because he or she is there, students tend to pay a little bit more attention. Even when you ask people in organizations, they will tell you that yes, a lot of work gets done when the boss is around, and sometimes if the boss is not around, then people tend to take it a bit easy. So, there is value of direct supervision, and that for us is the first means of control, especially in an environment where there may be a principal agent divergence.